My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. In the first reading of the Mass today, we read how King Saul, jealous of David and his success, decided to kill him. It happens at times that those who do good things find difficulties everywhere. How easily David could have given up. Difficulties were the bread and butter of the saints. The enemy never stops trying to discourage those who do good. As Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I find the story of St. John Mary Vianney very encouraging. In his biography, there's an account of a conversation he had with an old woman possessed by an evil spirit. The lady was shouting in the church with a deep voice. To check whether she was possessed, the cure of Ars asked the woman in Latin, Tu qui es? Who are you? And the evil spirit replied, Magister caput, a head demon. And the demon said, You ugly black toad, how you torment me. Black toad was the way the devil referred to priests. So the evil spirit shouted, You're always talking about going away. Why don't you? So many black toads have retired to rest. Why don't you do like them? You have certainly worked enough. You talked of retiring into solitude. Why don't you do so? This was true. He had been thinking about that. So, do you see why this conversation is so important? The enemy was so tired of him that he was begging the saint to retire. That's what the enemy wants us to do. That's why he comes when we feel tired or exhausted or sick or humiliated. So let me stress this point. The great victory of the enemy is not that we fall into sin, because we have an easy solution for that. We go to confession and sort it out. The great victory of the enemy is this, that we get discouraged, that we give up. That's what he's after. That's what he spends all his energies on. That's what he works for, to discourage good people from doing good things. That's what he was asking the cure of Ars to do. Just give up, will you? And we know why. When these spirits are furious, they imprudently disclose interesting information. You see, the devil started screaming at St. John Mary Vianney, You are a miser of souls. You snatch as many as you can away from me. He was so mad that he confessed to the saint, You have snatched more than 80,000 souls from me. 80,000. Do you see what is at stake here? If the enemy had managed to discourage the cure of Ars, so many souls would have paid the price. That's why it is so important that we never forget your words, Jesus. He who perseveres until the end will be saved. And we could add, he will save many others as well. That's why the enemy spends his energies trying to discourage you and me. That is why when we feel tired, just fed up, or we have had a bad day, the enemy is there, lurking around, trying to make some profit out of it. You and I need to know this, and pray about this, and even pray for this. We need to be ready to know when this is happening to us, so that we do not throw in the towel. The biography of St. John Mary Vianney explains that at times the enemy would tempt him with thoughts of despair, bringing up his past sins and his miseries. But the saint would always go to the church, as he describes it, and throw himself in front of the tabernacle like a dog in front of its master. You see, the saints also had these temptations. I shouldn't be surprised if it happens to me. Whenever I find myself wondering, how did I get myself into this? Why is everything so difficult? Why is my vocation so hard? When I feel exhausted, when I feel like quitting, when I feel like giving up, Lord, I will not throw in the towel. Instead, I will throw myself at your feet, Jesus, like the Curé of Ars, to ask you for the grace I need to carry on, to keep up the good work, to lean on you, Jesus, and never give up. I know the enemy wants me to step down. I know that he will present me with reasons to get myself off the hook. But I also know, Jesus, how much you can do if I am faithful, if I keep going, if I don't abandon my mission. I ask you, Lord, for help to never give up, like the saints. In The Lord of the Rings, there is a very beautiful scene when Frodo is about to give up, and he says to Sam,
I can't do this, Sam.
And Sam explains how, in the great stories, like in the stories of the saints, the main characters had loads of chances to turn back, only they didn't.
I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. The shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you. That meant something. Even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
Mary, my Mother Immaculate, bring me light when I feel like I am in the dark. Help me to never give up, fighting for the good things, for the kingdom of your Son. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.